Hey everyone, Marco here, and welcome to another pencil mark video. I'm a little bit bummed out because I just tried to edit the second part of my Octathlon solve video, but it turns out I had recorded it completely wrong and like a lot of the solve is just out the window. So that's 4 hours down the drain. It's a bummer because I really wanted to show you all the wonderful puzzle that was the Nikoli Octathlon, but it is what it is. And I'm just gonna have to find another puzzle that'll be my first mega solve, I guess. So anyways, today I wanted to talk a little bit about Railpool. It's a pretty cool newish new generation puzzle type by Martin Ender, aka Menderbug or Broken Sign Games. Links will be in the description. And it recently even showed up at the World Puzzle Championship and also on the GM Puzzles puzzle blog here. Here's yeah, it's the first appearance there. There's also another solve video of this on the GM Puzzles, I think on Thomas Snyder's YouTube channel. So you can check that out if you're interested in that. But I wanted to solve a few puzzles here from the Broken Sign Games blog, which I have lined up here in the tabs. Let me go over the rules for Railpool real quick because I think there are some pretty interesting rules here. It's a loop drawing genre. Actually, let me just explain the name a little bit, because that might make it easier to understand. Railpool, if you spell it backwards, is lyre loop. So I'm not sure if lyre loop is like an actual genre, but if you sort of think of it as a backwards lyre loop, it'll make a little bit more sense. Where in the lyre loop, you'll get a bunch of lengths that can't be the lengths of segments. Why is that a tongue twister? In those spaces. But in Railpool, the lengths that you get instead are the only lengths that you can use. So your goal is to draw a loop that covers every single space. It can't have branches, it can't have crossings. It's got to have lengths that are in the region's set of numbers. So for example, this one, we have a segment of length 2 here. It is going to cover like the length of the line, not the number of squares it crosses. So one segment would connect exactly 2 cells, but it would be length 1 because it's connecting the centers of the cells. Each number's length has to be represented exactly once. So this one, for example, here, it just does not have any segments at all. The question marks, the way those work is that they basically convert to numbers. So this region here, the basic idea is that it's got segments of length 3 and then segments of 2 different unique number lengths, I guess. Also, it's got to be a single loop. It can't have empty cells. And here you can see in the bottom, there are, besides segments of length 3, or one segment, there are segments of length 2 and segments of length 1. But there are no other numbers, and that's how the question marks work. They can go to, if there's 2 question marks, besides the 3, there are 2 other segment lengths. You can see in the segments that intersect the T tetramino up above, it's 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. Those represent all of the 1 and 2 here. And only segments of length 1 go into this eyepiece on the left. So that's the basic idea, but how do you take those rules and actually solve a puzzle with them? Well, I've got 5 examples here. So let's go through those now. This is, I think, the first one here. We can start off any of these by, of course, it's a simple maximal deduction where you have to draw things that fit in every corner. And now we can see this one region here. We can't have 2 segments here, so of course we end up with a zigzag here just to make sure everything is length 1. That is sort of the first thing we do. Now going down here, we need to go out, but we don't have the length 2. It's got to be exactly length 3 in this 1, 3 cell. So it's got to be 3 and then it goes up. Now it has to turn back into the corner because otherwise the corner would be inaccessible. Now that goes into the region at the bottom here, which has a 2, 3 clue, meaning that while we have this here for the corner, none of these can turn because there's no length 1 in this region. So these both go out. And we actually have a similar thing going on with all the corners in this region, where it goes to length 2 or length 3. Over here in the third row from the bottom all the way on the right, we have 3 options here, of course. We cannot take this option because it would create a segment of length 1, so this line is definitely drawn here. At the bottom, this goes out 1 more, but then that is the maximal length of 3, so we have to turn here. That gives us a little bit more here. I'm just to be safe here, I'm going to check this option to color every single line different colors, so that might make it a little bit easier to see. We have a corner here on the right middle, so we got to fill that out. And this length of 2 is maximal, so we got to cut this off here. We can't make this go straight for the 1, so we gotta do an X. In a region that's only 1, of course, you'll know every cell is going to have a turn, so we gotta do something like this here. And this is length 1, so it doesn't go further as well. This line going up at the end of the purple thing on the left, that's 2 already. It can't extend anymore, so we gotta turn that to the left. That creates another corner here. What's the most logical way to do the next step? I see a deduction, but it's a little bit look-aheady. If we move up with this line one more, we'll end up with the maximum length, which is 3. That would make this an X up here. I'll do this on trial just to make it easier to undo. We would have to go left from this point because right would make it self-loop. And then we have this corner, which would need to be filled out. But we also have this cell, which you cannot fill out anymore afterwards. So that is impossible. Going up is impossible there. And now from here, going left is impossible because that would create a segment of length 2 that intersects with the 1, 3 region. So there's an X in this spot. We go up and we have to go up 2 here because of the 3. This turns to the left. Now in this 1, 2, 3 region, if we connect these, it's going to have segments of 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's it. So we need a segment of length 3 to fit in here somehow. It's not going to work that way. It leaves this as the only option for the length 3 segment. We go up here. This is the 1, 2 region, which is still connected over there. We can't go up further than 2 with the segment in column 5, so that turns to the right. Over here, we sort of have another T in this spot in row 4, column, I think that's 8. We can't have a straight line here, so this goes up. We can't have a connection here because this would create another self loop, so this is going to go up. We can't have a connection here because that would create a self loop, so we gotta escape like so. Making deductions like this is always a little bit weird, but we just gotta keep in mind that we cannot make a self loop. Over here, we have this corner coming up with the green segment. We cannot extend that into the 1 region, so that's gotta get cut off like so. And from here on out, it's just a matter of figuring out how this 1 works. This has to be a corner in row 3, column 2. So this is going to go up, this is going to X. And now if we turn this to the right, in this case here, if we turn this to the right, we'll have to make all of the segments in the 1 corners. So this is going to create a self loop. So we end up with this as the only other way to complete the rail pool puzzle. Let's check out the second one here. I'm going to, as usual, try to go a little bit faster. This one, it's a little bit difficult to figure stuff out with the clues on the sides here, so let's look at the middle. There is a 3 in the center. That looks like it's going to be important. And there are, I guess if the segments in 2 regions that are next to each other, if they don't share a number, then you can argue that they're not going to be able to intersect. So the 3, that can only intersect these 2 regions on the left and on the bottom. These 2 segments going down the 1, 2, 3 are both length 3. So this corner's got to be 1, 2, one way or the other, like so. This 1, 3, that cannot extend any further, so there's an X there. This is going to be either a 3 this way or that way. Oh yeah, of course, all of these are limited to length 3. And there needs to be a segment of length 1 in this here spot. We know it's gotta make a turn because of that. We don't know if this can go up 3 though, or it can go, well, it can't go 3 in this way, but it can go 1 in this way or that way. This does make the 4 in the cell a bit odd though, because where can we put a rail of length 4? We can't make it go vertically because these are limited to 3, and while we can do 4 here, that would intersect with the 1, 2 region. So it's got to be horizontally, but it can't cover every cell because that means we could only have 2 different lines of segment lengths there. So we've got to have a 4 over here on the right. And then this goes up, and then this is a corner. And then one of these 2 segments goes up one more to make the 2. That all seems like it makes sense. Sadly, I've run out of tea. Well, we've satisfied the 3, the 1, 3, the 1, 2, 3 is almost satisfied as long as we get this 1, 2 pair done. For this 1, 2, we can't connect this here, so for this cell we gotta go to the right. Same thing here, we can't have a straight segment here, so we gotta go down. It's not really helping a lot though. I'm going to say we can't have a corner in these spots, or it's going to be X's in both of these spots rather. If we had a line segment that goes up, it needs to go up to at least 2, but then it stops at 3, which does not match with this clue. So this is X'd, this is X'd. And this segment then goes one more in either direction to make exactly 4. We would still need to represent 2 somehow. That could be done in a number of different ways. However, we need to extend this line up, because if we don't, then we end up with something like this, where we end up with a segment longer than 2. So this goes up. Now I guess we have 2 options. Either we connect this down, for 2 entries, either we have these 2 or we have these 2. It's going to be one or the other there. However, I think the first case breaks, because then we end up with this little segment here that has to be taken in the corner, which makes a 1 segment for the top clue. So doing this gives us the 1, 2 region on the right, as well as filling out the 1, 2 region slightly to the left of that. Now we do a little bit more simple looping here. I think in a similar way, we can argue against the end segment connecting these 2, because that would make this 4 down below. So it's got to go up here for the second exit of this bottom right region. Yeah, if there was a connection at the bottom here, that would not have worked because of checkerboard loop parity as well, but that's a little bit more complicated of an argument. This segment intersects the 1, 2 clue, so it's got to stop here. Let's see. This goes up one more because it's the 4 segment, and if it connects this, then the top right is disjoint. So we're going to finish off the top right area like so. And there's one more connection that needs to happen across row 4 and row 5. I had to pause real quick for some chores, but I wanted to showcase this here a little before I got back. So here's a checkerboard, I guess. This is a deduction that people use in, I guess you could say, total loop genres, where every single space has to be occupied. If you just draw a loop, you can see that if it were superimposed on a checkerboard, the loop constantly switches between black and white. So the idea is if you divide an area into black and white squares, you're always sort of you're always going to have the same sort of parity. If you were to, well, maybe this is a bad example. If you were to make a line here, for example, make it separating the left and right sides here, you'd end up with 2 places where it enters on a black square. In this region where there are the same number of black squares and white squares. So this is just like not going to work parity-wise. The other example is down here, where we had a separation of a grid, and we had this one line to connect the rest. We need an even number of connections, but we also need them to happen on different checkerboard parities between, I guess here, row 4 and row 5, or row 3. If it were in a place like this, then the checkerboard parity would just it would not work out. You can sort of see it here. It needs to take, it's missing a white space here. So in order to do this connection properly, we need to do one from white to black, but also one from black to white, like so. And in this case, it's going to work. So let's go back to this one here. As you can see, that was the deduction made between rows 4 and 5. Let's just quickly finish off the top here. This is the 1, 3 region, so it can't extend up to 2, which gives us the rest of the top. Sometimes you can, if the line colors are too similar, you can press the change line colors button again to just quickly toggle that. We've got segments of 1, 2, and 3 in the left region. 2 segment could still be here on the left in the green, or on the right with the blue. This segment here is we still have the fact that it's going to turn into 1, 2. So it's either going to be like this, which I think is going to break because this bottom segment's going to go to length 3, and then it's going to be forced to turn up. So it's going to be the other way around. This segment has to go up. I could have spotted that earlier. Let me redo this real quick. We know this 3 segment is going to go up, which gives us this. We can't connect this down because then it would be longer than 3. And then we get the rest. That's an easier way to resolve the bottom left. Looking at the third one here, we have question marks for the first time. I guess an easy deduction here is that for the question marks, that since those are 2 different numbers in a 1 by 1, that means a turn happens there. Ones, of course, it means a turn happens in every cell, so it's going to sort of look like this, with the cases being 2, I guess, different zipper patterns there. Corners can be made like this. I guess the deduction here is that we can't do an X in this spot since that it would have to extend 2 in both directions, but going down it would autocomplete to 3. So we have a line here. Same thing, we can't do an X here because then it would end up connecting to 3, so this goes up here. These can't connect, so we have our 2s. So 3s either go like this or like this. But I think this case breaks here. I'm not sure. Let's see, we would have to fill out this pocket somehow, and that goes up in here, but then this turns and it's 1, 2, and it doesn't satisfy the 3, so our actual case is going to be like so. Now this can't connect to the 1 because that would be a segment that's longer than length 1, which resolves the zipper in this sort of way. And now we just have a bunch of segments here that we fill out because of, I guess, the maximal loop stuff and needing the loop to connect to everything else. These are sort of deductions you can make in genres like maxi loop and detour as well. Now, down here, because of the deductions from up top, we know that this is a segment of at least 3 heading into the question mark, so we can't have like a segment of length 1 or length 2. So this goes out to make a segment of at least length 3. We have 2 options here. Either these are all length 3 segments, like up above, or these all connect to one segment of, I guess, length 7. So those are the 2 options for the question mark. I guess first of all, we know a turn happens here with the 3, though it can be in either direction, that's still fine. Those question marks also indicate different lengths for the turn, but in this case here, it's going to be the same length. It's going to be 1 in both directions. So we actually end up with this here to make these question marks different length. What's next? Does the 3 case here break? I think so, because that means we have to have straight lines here. So this is going to be a 7, though that, there should be an easier way to do that rather than casework like that. Oh yeah, of course, the 2, it's got a turn, which means that the turn happens here. This has to go out more than 1. We gotta have this go down because if it goes straight across like so, we need this to go down 2 so that it like turns properly on the 1 by 1. That's not gonna happen though, so we end up with this pattern here. And then we just connect the rest. That's the third rail pool here. This one looks interesting. It's a lot smaller being an 8 by 8. I guess we have the same argument for the 1 only. It's going to resolve into this checkerboard sort of pattern. We fill out all the corners. We cannot connect the 1 segments to the corners because they would be longer than length 1, so the checkerboard resolves like so. This 2 goes out and then has to turn. This 3 goes out and then has to go 1 more. But yeah, this 2, 3 regions means that our segments are at least length 2. This one going down has length 3 because that's a 1, 3 down here. This one going across into the 1, 2 clue, that's got to stop. We end up like this because of looping. 1, 2 region seems satisfied. This is a 1, 2, 3 region. The 3, it's got to stop. It can't turn into 4, so this goes up. Oh yeah, now we have to go down from the top right corner. 2, 3 is maximal. This has to go to the left, and it also has to go at least 2 because of the 2, 3. We have to fill in this corner. This is a 1, 3, and we can't have both segments go into the middle. Like, we can't have both go turn. One has to go straight, but this cannot go straight here in row 5 because that would make it a 3 in a 1, 2 region. So we go right down. Same thing here. We cannot connect these to make a 3 because this is a 1, 2. And so we finish it. This was a cuter, smaller puzzle. And the last one. Let's see what we got over here. Let's zoom out a bit more again. This one seems a lot tougher. Let's see how we resolve these corners. We do start with the corners here. I think there's only one way to successfully make a 3 in this 1, 3 corner in the bottom left, because extending this to the right, it's going to have a 3 go into the 1, 2 region, so that's not going to work. So this goes up, meaning this goes up too. So this goes to the left, and we have our 1 turns that we gotta account for. These either go out, which could be fine, or they go in, which is also still fine. In both cases, we do have this corner down here, which we should. We can't extend this line into this 1, 3 area here because that would make this a segment of length 2, which can't be in the right, but this would be a segment of length 3, which can't be in the left, so we gotta go up here. Again, this segment that intersects between the 1, 3 and the 1, 2, that's gotta be of length 1. So we X that out. Oh yeah, I guess another thing here, we can do X's next to these segments which are guaranteed length 1. We gotta have a segment here. Yeah, this can't be a segment of length 2 coming from below, so this has to turn. One segment's resolve either like so or like so. Both of those are still justifiable. This were to go up. We can't go to the left, we can't go up here because it can't be a straight, it can only be a straight segment of 1, so that would make this go down here. That's still perfectly fine. The other option is this could be a 2, meaning this could be a 3, but that's still perfectly okay. We do have an X at this spot. This is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 in a 1 by 2. That means it's going to be 2 things that occupy 1 bit here, and they also both turn. There is a question of where we put the 4. This is the only place where it could go if it goes vertically. Horizontally, it can go 4 in both sides. We do have to go 3 in one direction because there's no option to go 3 up or 3 down. Oh, I guess similarly here we have the 1, 2, 3, 4 in a 1 by 2. This is going to be 4 and 3 going horizontally since the 3 seems to be blocked going vertically as well as the 4. This connection, if this connection here happens, then this connection happens, meaning that 2 length 1 connections happen, so these go down rather than up. If this goes down, we have a problem with length, so there's an X in this spot, meaning this is the 1 segment, so this has to be the 2 segment. If this turns, then we can't put the 3 segment in this 1 by 2, so this has to go 2 out to the left before turning. There should be a way to resolve the last bit here. This is either an X or it goes down 2 as per the 1, 3 clue. I'm going to say I don't think we can connect these. No, that's still fine. If this connection happens, then the 1, 3 constraint still works. We can't put an X in this spot because putting an X over here builds the lines like so. That creates 2 1 segments in this 1 by 2, and those have to all be a unique length, so that's not going to work. This segment is filled out. We cannot connect these because we would have to extend this by 1, and then this segment extends by 1 here, making it a 3 segment in the 1, 2 clue. So the 2 clue resolves like that. These have to extend to at least length 2. This has to stop at length 2 because it's in the intersection of the 1, 2, 4 and the 1, 2, 3. So this has to extend to length 3. This extends to length 4. Since this segment down here, it can't be length 3. We end up with some more looping deductions. Whoops, phone went off and I got some T2. So let's see here, how are we going to deal with this? We still need to have the 3 somewhere in the bottom area. Oh yeah, there's 2 X's next to this square right underneath this clue area, so this goes down, and this goes down 1 more to satisfy the 4. So we do need the 3 somewhere. I think it's going to either be here or it's going to cross here somehow. And we do need a 2, but again, we only have these as options. We can't go down with 2 because that would enter into the 1, 3 clue. I guess let's do a horizontal cut real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, cutting from the top over here, we would either need both or none in order to have an even cut. So we gotta do none, and that resolves a little bit more here. We can't connect these because 2 and 3. Since this goes right, it has to go right 1 more for the 1, 3 clue. Just resolving this with the 1, 3 and the 1, 2. This can't be a 1 anymore, so it's gotta be 3 going up. Bottom right resolving pretty naturally there. And I think that means we've satisfied the 1, 2, and the 4 for this 2 by 3 in the middle. We still need to satisfy the 3, so it goes 1 to the right here to make the 3. These two up top, these two segments go 2 out, which means we can't extend them any further. So that gives us a little here, and this needs to snake to take all cells up top. So far we only have, we don't have the 3 representation yet. There's only one place where it can go now, and this region on the right. And now we just have the top left to complete. I forgot the ones need to be X'd over here. And now our end goal is to connect the pink and purple ends. We have to connect these 2 ends somehow and these 2 ends somehow. Now I think it's impossible to connect these 2 ends up here directly, because that would mean we would need to go down here, and this is way more than 3 cells. So these definitely go out a little bit here. Oh yeah, and of course this has to satisfy the 1, 2, 3, 4. Our 1 clue is going down here, our 2's going down here, our 3's going to the right. So our 4 is going to the left, and it's going to go down from this point. We either have 1 or we have 3, but the 1 breaks because the remnant here is a 2. So we have our 3 going down and our 1 going to, and our segments down here connect. So that's going to be the end of this last real pool, and this was a very, very tricky one to end this video off here. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope this made you understand this new genre a little bit better. Many thanks to Menderbug for all these really cool puzzles. Please check out the Broken Sign Games puzzle blog for more puzzles like these and other new genres as well. I think there's a bunch of interesting loom puzzles, as well as Locus, which is a genre that Hempuli invented. Hempuli, as you know, or might know, is the creator of Baba Is You, and has been making a bunch of pencil logic puzzles as well. I may cover these in the future video, but for now, that's been all for me. I'm a little bit frustrated by my inability to record those longer form videos properly, but I'll try to do another solve in the future. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and that's it for now. Bye-bye.